Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in. This is Marcel from Bali Outdoor and Bushcraft. Special thanks to all the subscribers and to all the viewers, and a big shout out to Sarawak Old Man for his support. And also thanks for Connor. If you are watching this video, thanks for sending me your questions about wild camping here in Bali. And I think on my last video with the gear drop of my ground sleeping equipment, I think it wasn't maybe not too clear about how to go about wild camping in Bali. What I suggest you, if you come to Bali and decide to go wild camping here, keep in mind that wild camping is illegal in Indonesia. The best thing you can do is you check online about the Hindu festivals. We have several big festivals here, the days where the people are busy in temples and preparing the offerings. And you can check that online. The reason behind it is, I told you, I suggest you preparing your trips if you go out. You scout the area first, where you want to wild camp. And then again, you need the permission of the landowner. That could be the government, private person, or most of the cases, the land is owned by the community. And here in Bali, we call that the desa or the banjar. So you will need to talk to the Kepala Desa, that's the village chief. And you can imagine when the people have big ceremonies, they are busy in the temples, they will probably not even be at home or not reachable. So that's why my advice is check the Hindu, when are the big Hindu festivals, and if you can avoid these days, it would be beneficial. So just go maybe before the big festivals take place and ask the people or the in the village there or the village chief. And in my experience, in 100% of the time, people were happy to allow me to camp on their land. But you have to really introduce yourself, where you from, why do you want to wild camp, how long you're going to stay, and also you may have to assure them that you absolutely do not destroy anything or unnecessarily, don't cut any trees down. Also, please take your rubbish back home, and also make sure you do not contaminate any water sources. So today I want to talk to you about cutting tools. I have prepared some of the tools I have in my collection, and let's talk about what I suggest or advise you take into the jungle. So flip this camera onto my kitchen table. And there it is, a bit of an assortment what I have in my collection. That's not everything, it's just part of it. And let's go through it step by step. What I usually bring is a folding saw. This is definitely a tool you will need in the jungle to process wood, to cut wood down in smaller pieces. This is a camp hatchet or an axe, smaller axe, which is issued by the Swiss Army in the 1980s. It held up fairly well. It is quite heavy for the small size it has, and I usually bring a belt knife, a fixed blade, or a full tang knife. Do you need to bring an axe or a hatchet? Not necessarily, because it is quite heavy. It will add on to the weight of your bag. For me, this is definitely something you can live without. A full tang knife is something I really highly suggest you bring. It will also help you processing wood down. Moving over to here, this is a tool the farmers use here in Bali. Also quite heavy. It is also full tang. The farmers usually use this tool to cut or harvest coconuts from the trees. Then we move over here. This is one of the golok we have from Indonesia. Also full tang. Fairly inexpensive and fairly light. This is something I do recommend for you to bring. What is advantage of this one is it really holds well in your hand, and it doesn't take much space in your bag, and it's really light. This is about 200 grams. Moving over here, this is actually not a tool. It's considered a weapon. It's also not originally from Indonesia. It is originated in Nepal. It is a kukri, which the Gurkhas use as a weapon. It's not a tool. So do I recommend bringing this? Not really. You don't really want to cut wood with this. So it really has a different purpose as all of the other things, blades here on this table. One of them is also a weapon. I'll get to that in a second. And we are coming over here. This is a blade from Western Java, from Cibatu. And this blade is also considered a weapon. It's not a tool, so you don't bring this in the forest to cut tools. This is more like display, or people maybe wear this if they have ceremonies. It comes with this beautiful wooden sheath, really beautifully made. So again, this is not a cutting tool, this is a weapon. Then we come over to this one, and I'm not sure if probably Sarawak Old Man can tell me what kind of wood this is. I have really no idea, or maybe one of the viewers can tell me. It lays very nicely in the hand, and it also absorbs really well moisture. And this is a cutting tool. It's from the region of Banten near Jakarta, and this is also really light. It's about 250 grams. And very nice. And also what I like about these goloks, it's called in Indonesia, is it's really easy to sharpen them in the field. Then we come over to this one. This is also a tool the farmers use in Sumatra, and this is probably as close as it may get to the famous parangs you will have in Malaysia, and that's why I highly recommend you to check out Sarawak Old Man's channel on YouTube. He is really a great guy. He makes parangs himself, and he also explains really well in his videos what are the different types of parangs and how do you use them out in the field and in the jungle. This specific specimen is close to what they do in Malaysia. It is a rat tail tang, and the difference between rat tail and fixed blade is it really distributes the force which is generated by a blow away from your wrist and hand. So if you cut on a prolonged time with this tool, it is much easier than if you cut with a full tang blade, because that will go tremendously in your wrist, and you will definitely feel that after only a couple of minutes. Okay. This one is quite unique. It's a rather short blade. Or this is also from Western Java, and this is actually a butcher tool. This is meant to cut bones, but also really nice if you go into the forest. This is really small in size, so it's pretty easy to carry, but it has some weight with it. Yeah. Same with this one. This is basically just a different model. They're fairly inexpensive, but razor sharp, and also really easy to sharpen in the field. Now we go over to this, and there's probably something Sarawak Old Man will smile now. This is not a parang or golok or whatever. This is a jungle machete. This one is from England. It's a Martinsdale 24 inch. It's fairly flexible, yeah. What I don't like about this blade is, first of all, the handle. It's not very comfortable to work with. It's pretty flexible. Sometimes for me that is not really what I want. And on top of that, the Martingales are really difficult to resharpen. They don't really hold an edge that well. So yeah, this is something you only bring to a secondary forest where you have heavy undergrowth, where you really have to cut your way through the forest. So that's why I always advise plan your trips so you know what to expect and also you know what to bring. Last but not least, this is definitely one of my most preferred machetes. This is a Tramontina from Brazil. They're really heavy. This is a heavy chopper, razor sharp. What I like about the Tramontina is they are really easy to sharpen and they hold an edge very, very well. So in the end, what do you bring out in the field? Again, what I recommend, what I usually bring is definitely a saw. It can be a folding saw or a fixed blade saw, a fixed blade knife, a full tang knife, and then any of the smaller goloks, they call them here in Indonesia, maybe something like this, or something like that. The advantage is the handle is very comfortable and they're really, really light, easy to sharpen. So this is something you can really bring along with you. It helps you clearing bushes, it helps you also processing wood. So this is something I highly recommend to get in your collection. They're fairly inexpensive here in Indonesia. They are only like 10, 15 to 20 US dollars. So this is something nice to have. So I thank you for watching, and I will put another video out today where I talk about my jungle equipment. That's the hammock setup. And yeah, I hope you enjoy my content, and I'll thank you for watching, and I see you on the next one.